Work harder to end anti-Semitism, May. The UK must redouble its efforts to wipe out anti-Semitism, Home Secretary Theresa May has said. Ms. May said she never thought I'd see the day when members of the Jewish community would be fearful of staying in the UK. She was speaking at a service in London to commemorate those killed in the terror attacks in France this month, including 4 in a kosher supermarket. Police say there is heightened concern about risks to Jewish people. Anxious. Ms. May said the attack on the supermarket in France was a chilling reminder of anti-Semitism, not just in France but the recent anti-Semitic prejudice that we sadly have seen in this country. I know that many Jewish people in this country are feeling vulnerable and fearful, and you're saying that you're anxious for your families, for your children and yourselves. I never thought I would see the day when members of the Jewish community in the United Kingdom would say they were fearful of remaining here in the United Kingdom. Police carry out a patrol as Jewish men walk past. The Met has increased its patrols in areas with large Jewish communities. On Friday, Met Police Assistant Commissioner Mark Rowley, the national policing lead for counter-terrorism, said a security review was being carried out in the UK in the aftermath of the France attacks. He said police were holding talks over more patrols in key areas after anti-Semitic rhetoric from extremists. A total of 17 people died in a series of attacks by gunmen in Paris over 3 days, including 4 men at a kosher supermarket on January 9. It began with a massacre at the offices of satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo by militant Islamists, during which 8 magazine staff, a visitor to the magazine and a caretaker also died. The UK's threat level remains severe, which means a terrorist attack is highly likely. British identity. In a letter read out at the service, London Mayor Boris Johnson said, "In London we continue to do all we can to tackle anti-Semitism so the Jewish community can continue to live their lives free from persecution. I've set a clear expectation that the police treat all harassment and hate crime offences very seriously." Communities Secretary Pickles, who spoke at the service organised by the Board of Deputies of British Jews, described anti-Semitism as a cancer and said the government would do everything it could to combat it. He said education, youth groups, and charities were the way to tackle anti-Semitism. "We know that in Paris a pensioner, a rabbi's son, a teacher, and a shop assistant were wiped out because they were Jewish," he said. "And if history tells us anything, we need to be constantly vigilant." Meanwhile, Mr. Pickles has written to Muslim leaders urging them to help explain and demonstrate how faith in Islam can be part of British identity. "We must show our young people, who may be targeted, that extremists have nothing to offer them," he said. "We must show them that there are other ways to express disagreement, that their right to do so is dependent on the very freedoms that extremists seek to destroy."